To wrap up my discussion about frame relay interfaces, I want to change the configuration that I had back to multi-point interfaces and show you something about protocol neighborship, for example, in EIGRP, RIP, and OSPF. And I want to show you what happens if you do not configure the correct frame relay mappings. So I go to router 2, I delete the interfaces that I had previously. I go to enable mode, go to configuration mode. I type in no interface serial 00.1 and it is gone. .3 and .4. These are the sub-interfaces that I had previously. But now I add interface serial 00.134 make it multi-point interface. Now you know that under multi-point sub-interfaces you can use frame relay mapping, and of course you can use frame relay interface DLC command to introduce the DLCs to that sub-interface. But I'm going to use frame relay mapping here. So I start frame relay map and I'm going to introduce IP address here 10.0.0.1, and to reach this IP address I tell the sub-interface that use 201 DLC and I hit enter. I should add the IP address to this sub-interface as well, 10.0.0.2, and that is gonna be a 24-bit mask IP address, and I add some more DLCs here. For example, I say to reach to 10.0.0.3, you should use 203, and you should use 204 to reach to router 4's interface. Okay, now let's see the running config of interface serial 00.134, and you can see that I have 3 mappings here. Now you can see that I haven't enabled broadcast on these mappings, and I want to see what happens if I do not enable broadcast. So I go to router 1 and I go to configuration mode. Let's see the running config of interface serial 00 first and see what we are going to change. And you can see that I have the OSPF network point-to-point. I don't care about this, but I want to remove this. Okay, I should add frame relay mappings as well because I am using a multi-point interface in my hub. So I go to interface serial 00, I remove this command, and I change the IP address to 10.0.0.1 because this is router 1, and I hit enter, and I add the mappings that I need. Frame relay map IP to reach to 10.0.0.3, I should use 102 DLC. To reach to router 4, I should do the same. And to reach to router 2, again, I use the same mapping. I should add mapping to router, yes, I have added everything. Now I have this configuration on router 1 serial interface. Now I go to router 3 and do the same thing here. Show run interface serial 00 tells me what configuration I already have on this interface. I go to configuration mode, interface serial 00, and again I should remove this command. I should change the IP address to 10.0.0.3, and this should be in the same subnet with the other 3 interfaces. And I should add frame relay mappings IP, and to reach to 10.0.0.1 I should use 302. To reach to router 2 I should use the same DLC, and to reach to router 4 I should use the same DLC again. Now I go to router 4 and change the configuration here, and show run interface serial 00 tells me the configuration that I have here. Interface serial 00. Again, this command should be gone. IP address should change to 10.0.0.4 and 24-bit mask. And I should add frame relay mapping to IP address of IL10.0.0.1 that uses 402 to reach to router 2 the same DLC, to reach to router 3 the same DLC. Okay, now that I have the correct mapping, I should change the connectivity. So if I want to reach 10.0.0.2, this is successful. To reach to router 3, this is successful, and to reach to router 4, this is successful. And I assume that every configuration that I have made is correct and working. So now I want to see the neighborship of OSPF process. So to do this, I type show IP OSPF neighbors, and you can see that now I have no neighborship using serial interfaces. And this is because OSPF and EIGRP, of course, use multicast to reach to the other neighbor, use multicast hellos. And if you want to change this, you should add multicast support to your frame relay configuration. So to do this, I should add multicast support to one instance of my DLC that is used in frame relay mapping. Let's see the running config of interface serial 00, and you can see that I have DLC 102 used 3 times here, and I need only 1 time adding the multicast support here. So I, for example, use this line of command and add the broadcast keyword here, and this will tell the frame relay map to support broadcast. And if I do this, because the other DLCs are using 102, they will support broadcast as well. Okay, now I should do the same thing on the other things. Here I have 3 different DLCs, so I have to add broadcast to all of them. So I copy these and go to Notepad. I guess Notepad is a better option here. Notepad, and paste this here, and I add broadcast here, broadcast and broadcast. Now I copy all of these commands and paste them, and you can see that broadcast is supported here. Now I should go to router 3 and add broadcast support to one of these instances, because all 3 are using the same DLC, so adding 1 time is enough, and router 4 should do this again. So if I want to add this, now you should see that every DLC is supporting broadcast. Now that these support broadcast, I expect to see the OSPF creating the neighborship. Of course, I should see that these interfaces are added to OSPF network. So do show run section router OSPF, and SRO is quite enough to distinguish this phrase. And you can see that 10 is not here, so I should add this. I go to router OSPF 1 and add network 10.0.0.1.2. This is router 2, of course. And 0.0.0.0 is as my wildcard mask, and I should add this to area 1, 2, 3, 4, for example. I hit enter, and if I go to router 1 and add these router OSPF process, I should see the neighborship is working because I have added the multicast support using the broadcast keyword 10.0.0.1.0.0.0, and it should be in area 1, 2, 3, 4. And now I should see the neighborship coming up between router 1 and router 2 in a minute. Let's go to router 3, router OSPF 1, network 10.0.0.3.0.0.0.0 in area 1, 2, 3, 4. And I have a typo here. And on router another OSPF one here. I add network 10.0.0.4.0.0.0.0 to area 1, 2, 3, 4, and you can see that now I should see the neighborship coming up. And let's check the show IP OSPF interfaces in brief and see what we have here. I have serial 00 and it is in waiting mode, and I should see neighborship coming up in a moment. Okay, now that I have this in waiting, I should have an error here. Let's check the interface and see the OSPF network type and see if it starts creating the neighborship. To show IP OSPF interface serial 00, and now I can see that the network type is non-broadcast on physical interface. On router 2, I have a sub-interface that is a multi-point interface to show IP OSPF interface serial 00.12134, of course, and you can see that this is non-broadcast as well. So you can see that the multi-point sub-interfaces default to non-broadcast. So this means that they do not send hellos to create the neighborship. And I have two options. I can create the neighbors using the neighbor command under the router configuration, and I can of course change the network type of one of these routers to for example point to multipoint, and I can do this on router 2, and that would be enough. If I go to interface serial 00.134 and change the IP OSPF network to point to multipoint, you can see that the neighborship will be created in a while, and you can see that now I have neighborship between all routers, and this is sending the hellos now, and two reasons are here to see this neighborship. One is I have enabled broadcast support on frame relay. Two, it's the network type that I have changed to point to multipoint, and this is the reason that I see the neighborship. Now, I should take care of one thing. Because router 2 is the hub, I should check and make sure that router 2 is going to be designated router. So I check the IP OSPF interface in brief and make sure that designated router is here. You can see that this is point to multipoint. If I had, for example, the broadcast mode, it would be the DR that we have on serial 00134. So let's change this, and instead of point to multipoint, I can change this to broadcast. And now that I have broadcast, again, I have neighborship, and of course I should do this now on other routers. Interface serial 00, and of course it should have IP OSPF network type to set to broadcast. And now that I have broadcast, you can see that the neighborship is created again. On router 3, I should do the same. Let's see what is happening on router 2. Show IP OSPF interface in brief tells me that I am now designated router. I can see one neighbor per here only, because on our router 3 I should change the configuration again. Router here IP OSPF network type should be a broadcast, and on R4 I do the same. Serial 00 IP OSPF network type is broadcast, and now I should have neighborship on all of this, and you can see that I have 3 neighbors and I am DR. And again, to make sure that I will be DR always, I can change the IP OSPF priority to the highest number here to 55, and this will make sure that I am always the designated router, because other routers will default to 1. And if I change those priorities to 0, that will mean that I'm not going to participate in the election of becoming a DR, and that's why I should change those priorities to 0. But I didn't do that here. I just changed the priority of the hub interface to the highest value, and now I'm sure that I always am designated router.